I'm sorry. I don't know what y'all watched, but Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. This is like someone who talked about black people his whole life and then had dinner with one and said, actually, after I had dinner with them, they're not that bad, guys.
Tyrus absolutely goes off on Bill Maher in this clip from Gutfield, calling him out as a two-faced coward. While some are praising and others are criticizing Bill Maher for his dinner with Donald Trump, Tyrus isn't buying it. He unleashes on Bill Maher, reminding everyone of all the vile things he said about Donald Trump over the years, and he makes it clear that you don't get to flip the script now. And Tyrus just drops the hammer, and it's one of his most explosive moments on Bill Maher. Let's go ahead and check it out, guys.
Did the unspeakable. He sat down with Trump, talked to him, ate with him, praised him.
As you know, 12 days ago, I had dinner with President Trump. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy.
Now, I know what you're thinking. What's next? A rom-com starring Rachel Maddow and Jesse Waters? And was Trump gracious and measured?
Trump was gracious and measured, and why he isn't that in other settings, I don't know. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye. None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
So how did the media react? As you'd expect. Here's Washington Post columnist Josh Rogan telling Maher to his face that he fell into a trap.
I think you've fallen into the trap. I think I represent 99% of the internet when I say this, is that you've played the game of proximity is principle.
Ah, yes, the old proximity is principle game. That's my favorite game after Stratego and Operation. Anyway, Rogan tried to follow up with some ass kissing, and Maher wasn't having it.
I think a lot of people out there, fans of yours, people who love you, people who are fans of you, like me, I've been fans of you.
You don't have to patronize me, dude.
Okay.
I don't know you.
Fair enough.
I never met you.
I'm just saying that this comes from
not
a place
everybody
of
has to
love.
like it.
All I'm
That's
saying
what we
is-
said. There are people who didn't want it to happen at all. You sound like one of them. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Like, what is the alternative to not talking? Just sit at your lunch table and don't talk to anybody?
I talked to him. I've interviewed Trump.
This was not an interview.
From his perspective, you have to understand that people out there know, all Americans know, that for him, this was a PR stunt. And in his view, you were a prop in that PR stunt.
Okay, so it was a PR stunt? So what if it was? Haven't we gotten used to the presidency as an endless series of PR stunts? Obama and Biden didn't do public relations. And here I thought Trump was a unique threat, unlike any other. Maher and Josh Rogan are proving the point that in many ways, Trump is like other presidents. Except, I don't know any other president who would do this.
I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it. Which he did. With good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened.
So there you have it. Liberals are upset because the world is finding out that Trump is unpredictable and hilarious, but he's also presidential, or what he himself likes to describe as modern presidential. And as Maher admits, he's human. But that's the problem, isn't it? Because according to the Church of Perpetual Outrage, you must never humanize the enemy. And once you realize that almost everything you've been told about Trump is a lie, you start asking yourself questions like, what else have I been misled about? Remember, the media needs Trump to be the boogeyman, the evil, incoherent, wild-haired threat to democracy itself. Because if he's not that, if he's just a guy with a knack for plain speaking and trolling, well, then you can't scare voters with him anymore. But here's the good news. People are tired of the fear factory. tired of being told who they can talk to, who they can laugh at, who they can share a meal with. It's one of the reasons Trump won.
At this point, anything that makes Donald Trump even look remotely human or relatable turns you into the enemy to these people on the left. The left has to keep him polarized. They need the fear, the outrage, because the moment people actually stop and listen to what Trump is saying, he starts winning. And when that happens, the entire game just falls apart. That's why people are losing their minds over Bill Maher. One of the biggest left-wing voices out there sat down with Donald Trump and realized, well, wait a minute, he's just a guy. And now the narrative is just falling apart. They're trying to spin it like it was just some PR stunt from Donald Trump. But I'm not buying that. When everyone who meets him ends up saying pretty much the same thing, well, maybe it's not a stunt. Maybe this is just reality. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. Do you think it was just a PR move? Or do you think Bill Maher finally saw the truth and now doesn't know how to handle it?
I'm sorry, I don't know what y'all watched, but Bill Maher. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry. This is like someone who talked about black people his whole life and then had dinner with one and said, actually, after I had dinner with them, they're not that bad, guys.
If you guys enjoy content like this, make sure to go ahead and like the video, comment your thoughts, subscribe to the channel. It would help me out a lot. Let's get back to the video.
No, you don't get to do that, you coward. You went on a show and you tried to play both sides of the street.
That's right.
Why? So maybe he could do your show because the 300,000 people that watch it, if we had those numbers here, I wouldn't be here. These dudes make me laugh. Cowards die 1,000 deaths. You said things about President Trump nonstop. You had no reference point. That's all you proved to me. You sit down with a man, you break bread with a man, then you come and say, well, on this night, he was okay, but don't be mad at me. Splitting hairs. Man up. I don't know what this whole thing, everyone keeps acting like they need Bill Maher. The little guy who doesn't lift weights, 99% of the internet, what, MySpace? Come on, man. This dude represents nobody. A PR stunt for who? I'm sorry, I missed the Oval Office Rose Garden meeting where President Trump was talking about Bill Maher was there.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
He's talking about it. President's not talking about it. He doesn't need Bill Maher. He's got 70% of the country cheering him on. He walked into UFC. The place was crazy.
Then why did he accept dinner with him if he didn't?
Because he's like everybody else.
No, why did Trump?
Because that's who Trump is. He will break bread with anyone. He will sit with Kim Jong-un and break bread. So little punk-ass Bill Maher coming to the house and sitting in the seat. And what did Trump did? He was gracious. He treated him. Everything. He had to leave and come back and go, he wasn't any of the things I said. Because you were part of the machine. You were part of the thing. He wasn't as bad as Joe and Micah was, where he's sharp as a tack, but he led the charge. He continued to say things that weren't true. He supported things without ever bothering to say, hey, you know what? I want to sit down. And when I have a problem with someone, if I had a problem with Johnny and me and him had a problem, I'd be like, we need to sit down and talk before I would go out on social media and talk about him. But he needs President Trump.
And I'd say, let me have a
needs the
weapon
audience.
first.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know. But at this point, to coin one of the greatest, funniest phrases in all of comedy, I would ask Bill Maher to step in my office. And he would say, why? Because he's fired.
I still think it's a good idea that Bill Maher sat down and had dinner with Donald Trump, not just because of the dinner itself, but because of the fallout that followed. That said, I can get with Tyrus and see where he's coming from. Let's not forget, though, Bill Maher spent years leading the charge when it comes to attacking Donald Trump. Some of the nastiest insults, the most toxic talking points, you name it, Bill Maher was pushing it. So yeah, I totally understand Tyrus's outrage. You don't get to sit down for one meal and suddenly it's all forgiven. You don't get to say, hey, we're cool now, let's slide back into the center like nothing happened. As we saw in Tyrus's rant, he wasn't holding any of his punches back. And honestly, I guess Bill Maher does kind of deserve the heat. He spent years trashing Donald Trump and being flat out wrong about so much. So if he's going to get slammed now for realizing Trump's actually being a human being, that's kind of on him. Here's the part I love. The left is just spiraling. They can't handle the fact that one of their loudest voices had a normal conversation with Donald Trump and didn't come back screaming about fascism. that's what's really causing the meltdown. So yeah, Tyrus is right to go off, and Bill Maher absolutely deserves to be called out about it. But at the same time, the biggest win here might be just watching the rest of the left freak out because one of their own saw the truth. Even if it was just for a moment, they seen it. Let me know what you guys think about this topic in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.